It was the kind of day that could define a career. At just 26, Alisa Grace was one of the youngest reporters at her network, already considered a rising star, and now she had been chosen to interview the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, live in front of millions of viewers. Her colleagues cheered for her achievement, but Alisa felt a weight pressing down on her chest. It wasn't stage fright, it was something she had carried for years. Behind her calm smile was a painful truth. Her father, once a decorated Navy officer, had vanished during a covert mission more than a decade ago. His body was never recovered. His mission was sealed in classified silence, and his name rarely spoken of again. Alisa never brought him up, not even to her closest friends at the network. Tonight, she promised herself no personal matters. She would remain composed, professional, and ask only the questions approved ahead of time. The producers wanted sharp, respectful journalism, nothing of script. The studio buzzed with nervous energy. The red on-air light flicked on. Trump walked into the thunderous applause, shaking hands with the crew before joining Alisa at the center desks. The interview began with the safe territory, the economy, foreign policy, national security. Trump answered with confidence, occasionally glancing around the studio, as if his attention was split between the cameras and something unseen. Then suddenly he leaned closer towards Alisa. "I know you are supposed to be the one asking questions," he said in a steady voice. "But may I ask you something, Miss Grace?" Alisa blinked, caught off guard. "Of course, Mr. President." Trump studied her carefully. His next words dropped like a stone in water. "What was your father's name?" The entire studio froze. Alisa's polished mask split away. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Commander James Grace." Trump nodded slowly. "He served in the Navy, didn't he?" Her throat tightened. "Yes, but he disappeared in 2011. His mission was classified. We never got answers." For once, the room of seasoned journalists had no words. Even the floor manager, famous for whispering cues, stood still. "I'm sorry," Trump said softly, "not as a politician, but as a man. I asked because his name came up in a file I reviewed recently, and I thought you deserved to know." Alisa's heart pounded in her ears. Before she could respond, Trump reached into his jacket and pulled out a small sealed envelope with a Navy crest stamped on the front. In faded ink, her name was written Alisa Grace. "This was lost in the system for years," he explained. "It was meant for you." Her hands trembled as she accepted the envelope. She recognized the handwriting instantly. Her father's tears welled up in her eyes. For a moment, politics disappeared. The cameras were still rolling, but the interview had turned into something far more human. Alisa opened the envelope slowly. Inside was a single yellowed sheet of paper. Her voice cracked as she read aloud. "My dearest Alisa, if you are reading this, I couldn't make it home, but know this. I am proud of you. Never stop chasing truth, even when it's hard. I believe in you with love, Dad." She covered her face with her hands as tears streamed down. The studio fell into total silence. When she finally looked up, Alisa's eyes searched Trump's face. "How did you find this?" Trump shook his head. "I didn't. A young Navy clerk named Samuel Brighton found it in an old box. He recognized your name and insisted it reach you. He told me your father was his mentor." Alisa's lip trembled. "I remember him. He used to visit our house. He admired my dad." Trump nodded. "Your father was never forgotten, not by his men, not by me, and certainly not by you." The interview was no longer about policy, it was about memory, legacy, and the bond between a father and daughter. Millions of viewers watching at home saw something no producer could have scripted, truth colliding with grief, compassion, and closure. The broadcast ran over its scheduled time, but nobody cut it short. Some things are bigger than airtime. That night, Alisa sat alone in her apartment with a letter pressed against her chest. She placed it beside her father's photograph and a navy blue journal she had once kept as a teenager. For the first time in years, she felt peace. Days later, she was contacted by the White House. Trump had instructed a team to help her access more of her father's records. Soon Alisa was handed reports and files confirming what she never dared to hope. Her father had gone missing in action, but his death was never confirmed. Somewhere out there, a slim chance of survival still lingered. The discovery lit a fire in Alisa's heart. She promised herself she would share her father's story, not as a scandal, not as a headline, but as a tribute to all families who carried the same silence. Months later, Alisa hosted a national special report titled "The Letter My Father Left Behind." It wasn't just about her, but about every soldier who never made it home. Viewers flooded her with the letters and messages, thanking her for giving voice to this grief. At a dedication ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery, Alisa stood tall before the crowd, clutching her father's letter. President Trump was there too, quietly in the audience. Her voice rang out, "I may never get to see my father again, but he gave me something eternal. His values, his courage, and the reminder that every voice matters." The silence that followed was more powerful than applause. Some saluted, others wiped tears from their eyes. Even Trump looked moved. That evening, Alisa placed her father's letter in a frame beside his photograph. As the sun set over Washington, she whispered, "I will keep chasing truth, Dad, just like as you asked." And it all began with one unexpected question. What was your father's name?